Hey yo everybody, how are you all doing today, and welcome back to the SSX free all-peak race speedrun guide for part number 2, where I'm going to be covering Black Station and Gravitude. From here on out, each video will contain one station section and one track. Before we start, you should know that since I made the last episode, I have gotten a new record, so we will be using that run instead, as that run has fewer mistakes, and I will be able to show stuff off in a better manner. So last time we left off, we were just getting over this hump where we hold the boost button and we hold the jump button. You do this to keep speed through here, and then when you get here, as we said last time, you want to have 4 Uber tricks here, SUPE, and then you just want to do a trick here to get Super Uber. Basically just jump over that turn like I did. You can do a monster trick if you'd like to. I do a monster trick for flair every now and again. In this run I just did a normal trick. Right, okay, so when you get to this section, which we have called rock rail, you want to jump onto the rock and turn sideways, like you see me doing in this run right here. This will allow you to get on it sideways, and you have two choices here. You can wait pretty much till the end of this rail line, and you can jump off it, and it'll be a little bit faster, or you can get off the rail line by going left a little earlier. Now, holding it till the end is easier but riskier. If you don't jump when you reach the end, by the way, you will crash. You will crash right here, and you will most likely hit the roof and lose about 5 seconds. So as you can see, I just jump here. Okay, this right here is called tri-rail. When you get on tri-rail, and make sure you get on tri-rail with your character facing the way that my character is facing, they should be facing towards the right to make it easier for you. There are a few ways to do tri-rail, so I'm just going to explain my way of doing it. Basically, I instantly spin once to the right when I get on tri-rail, and then I start holding left pretty much right away, and I boost all the way. This will allow you to automatically grab onto the second rail, at which point, roughly as you are midway across this rail, I let go right here, yes. Okay, I let go right here as you see, and then when I let go of boost, I start holding right instantly, like holding hard right, which will also allow you to automatically grab this rail where you start boosting again. This is tri-rail and is a very difficult trick, so if you can't do it, don't get too discouraged and just keep trying. Doing tri-rail saves roughly 6 or 7 seconds. Missing tri-rail will cost you about 9 seconds. Maybe a little bit less depending on how badly you mess it up. Alright, just do some spin boosts here and head towards the main station section. Not much to say about this part. Grab this rail for speed. When you get here, adjust yourself a little to the right. If you hit this a little bit further left, like you see me doing here. Oh, and by the way, before I continue, let me fix something. There we go. Like you see right there, if you hit it there, you're likely to crash. So hit it roughly here instead, where the rail is starting. Avoid this last one, it's just going to make it more difficult for you. Hit roughly here and just jump over this little gap. Land here and try to have as much control as possible going through here. If you end up a little bit far left here, you don't want to be boosting, because you'll be going too fast and you will hit this stuff on the left right here. You will hit this if you end up like here and you don't let go of boost. So if that happens, let go of boost. Also note that in this section you can easily wipe out from turning too sharply. This section is a big culprit when it comes to that. Okay. When you get to this section, try your best to center yourself before you get to this ice part right here. Because centering yourself so that you can go straight through this part is super important. If you hit these walls, you will most likely be bounced around like a pinball and you will lose at least 1 second and you can wipe out, which will cost you a full 4 or 5. That has happened to me plenty of times. Right. Just grab this rail and don't do anything here. You will just grab this next rail automatically. Okay. Get here and kind of have this angle and turn towards the ground right here, like this little wall thing. You want to turn towards that because that'll allow you to skip over this bit of snow right here. If you hit this bit of snow, it's no big deal. It's a minor time save. Grab this crevice rail right here. Make sure you get across this gap just fine. If you don't get across this gap, that's easily 9 seconds lost because you'll have to do the next section super slowly. Right, okay. What you want to do when you get here is you want to hold off to the left here, and you want to make sure you get air here, because that'll allow you to do a spin boost as you land, which will allow you to go very fast through this section. If you miss out on the spin boost, it's not a big deal. Just don't do stuff like jump, and definitely don't do stuff like hit this rock. When you hit this rock, you have to do what we call the walk of shame. You have to make this entire trek into Gravitude at like 20-30 miles per hour, which is like 50 kilometers an hour. And yeah, it loses you easily 9-10 seconds. It's on the scale, you can see it's a 2. It's a strong 2. Right, spin boost, and then just make your way towards Gravitude. Not much hocus pocus to this. Try to make sure you're not riding on the walls. Try to follow the path of least resistance here. Do a spin boost right there. Jump early here. You don't want to follow this all the way through till the end. That's going to be bad for you, as it's going to be hard to get the upcoming trick. Jump a little bit early. Make sure you don't jump too early, or you might end up in this gap we're jumping over right here. Right, tricky part. You want to have roughly this angle, although you can do it in many ways, but try to ride so that you're aligned with the turn. Pretty much what you want to do is you want to ride roughly this angle right here. Well, not like that, but like that. And then get just a little bit of air, and when you land again from this, you want to turn a little right. You don't want to be boosting after you land up here. I don't believe I'm going to do it super well in this, but it will, if done right, it will allow you to land right here, and you will keep all or almost all of your speed. I did it okay in this run. Make sure to turn a little bit right, because if you don't, you will most likely hit a little bit of snow, and you will be launched up in the air, costing you a few seconds. Right. Just jump across this. Don't jump across it. Just ride across this. If you're going fast enough, it'll just plain work. If you're not going fast enough, if you're going less than, let's say, 55 miles per hour, that's about 90 to 95 kilometers an hour at this point, just go around. Just do this turn right here and follow it around. Do a trick if you want to. You need to have at least one trick by here. Or, well, you don't want to, but you don't have to, but you want to. You want to have one trick here, and then you want to get your second trick on this rail from which you hold right to get off early. Alright, so the edge of this little ramp right here, you can actually rail on. So what you want to do is you want to get on this roughly right here. You want to get on the rail as early as possible, and you want to instantly do a handstand off of it. You can do other rail loopers, but it will be hard to land. Do note, however, that if you're down on tricks at this point, if you don't have at least 2 tricks before you enter this rail, you can do a foot surf and then like a Morgan grinder or a Madonna as you're approaching the next rail, but you want to avoid that, as the foot surf is less safe here. Let go mid-air and then hold left on the stick. This is what I do anyway, it works for me. And grab that. If you miss it, then you've done something wrong. You've most likely gotten on the rail a little too late, so you might want to revise and start getting on the rail a little earlier. Okay, land and do 2 rail loopers here and hit select right here. Don't do it too early or you're going to lose out on a nice 6 seconds. Pretty big deal, that. Right, so for this section, I do something you probably don't want to do as you're aspiring to learn to run. Let me actually go back right here, because that went a little bit too quickly for me. Okay, so what I do is I just ride here, but you can rail this edge as well, and you probably want to do that when you're learning to run. Sometimes doing this can get you pulled into this little gap, which is going to lose you a lot of time. It saves roughly half a second to do it in the way that I do it. By holding jump and all that stuff. So most of the time you probably don't want to do that. If you do want to do it, be aware that it can pull you down at times. Right, grab this rail, and as you get on this rail, wait till about here and then start holding right about here. It will cut off some airtime, as you'll be able to basically clip through the jump at the earliest possible moment and give you as good of a landing as possible. Right. What you want to do when you get up to this, you want to be kind of to the right of the middle of the ramp right here. You want to be roughly where I am. Then you want to let go of boost right here, and then you want to basically hard left as you let go of boost. As you can see, I boost towards the end. You probably don't want to do that. That might make it harder for you to do. But anyway, you want to land on this right here. And as you do, you will get launched over here, and then you hit select roughly here. This select timing might take a while to learn, as there's no real visual marker here, but it shouldn't take too much work. Alright, land rail across here. Not much to this section. Take this out of bounds shortcut. If you go the normal way here, or you somewhat miss this shortcut, it's a free mistake. And if you don't, like, it's a 10 to 15 second loss using the color scale. And if you don't execute it perfectly, it's also a 4 tier loss of like 20 seconds roughly. Right, down here, do a spin boost as you land to save as much time as possible. Hit select here, which will allow you to end up on the right side of this section. And just go around here, get this rail. This is automatic. Turn here, obviously. Don't jump here or do any such thing. Just ride against this and hold up on the left stick. And the ground will pull you back a little bit towards the mountain. As you can see it doing right there. It will pull you back a little bit. And as you approach roughly there, you want to hit select. The select timing for this one can be difficult as well, and if you select too early, you'll lose out on a nice 7 seconds again. So it's better to be safe than sorry in all of these cases. Alright, forest skip, which is a difficult part coming up. What you want to do, you want to let go of boost pretty early so that you can angle yourself on this ramp. And then because you let go of boost, so what happens when you let go of boost is you can turn sharper. This would be very hard to do boosting all the time, but basically, let go of boost and angle yourself so that you're heading towards, roughly heading towards this rock formation right here, or a little bit left of it. This will allow you to jump right here, and make sure you don't get any air in the run-up, because if you get air in the run-up, you will not be able to have enough momentum to make it over, and you will fail. Right, so you want to jump across this rock, or over this rock, instead, rather. And you want to make it, you want to clear this little rock formation on the left too. And now, as you're heading towards the bottom, you can select in the air, but you probably want to wait until you've landed, because if you select and you're a little bit too far towards the rock formation we just jumped over, it will set you back before you did the forest skip, which will lose you, which will be a 2 mistake, and a pretty big deal. I reset over that quite a lot. Right, so assuming you've gotten forest skip is one of the more difficult tricks in the run. Don't be, if you're an aspiring runner, you probably don't want to do forest skip right away, as it's going to cause you a lot of runs dying here in Gravitude, and it doesn't take that much longer to just go around. Going around the U-turn isn't that much slower. Alright, so hit select here and you'll end up right here. Just go left here. Try to ensure you get airtime a few times here, as that will let you speed up to max speed. Alright, hairpin turn skip. Basically what you want to do, you want to go exactly between these two lights. Okay, I'm doing a bad job of showing, but... Right, so you see these two lights right here. You see this light and you see that light. You want to be going between those, and you want to jump towards the upper edge here. Not too late, because if you do it too late it won't work, or you'll get too much air. But jump so you get roughly this angle as you go between the lights, and just have some fun or whatever. You can select roughly when you're below the sun. When you're below the sun, it's mostly safe to hit the select button, which will bring you right down here. If you do a bad select warp, you'll end up at a ramp further up the hill, but it will still save you time, so it's still worth it. This is just the ideal spawn that you want to have. Right? You probably don't want to do tricks off of that. I do that just to get boost back quickly. It's quite risky and you can easily wipe out though, so you probably don't want to do that. What you have to do is you have to make sure you have full boost after this jump. You don't have to do an uber trick here, but you need full boost after this jump. So what you want to do is you want to do a trick with 3 flips in it so that you'll fill up the entire boost bar by doing a trick that's worth more than 10,000. A normal trick. Right, get to this section, let go of boost and just go off to the right. Do your best to not hit this blue rail on the right here, this fence. It will hurt you and you will lose out on time. It's far too easy to hit that. Doing that correctly will land you roughly down here, at which point you just hold right. You can get on this rail if you feel that's more consistent for you. The rail is only about half a second slower, but when you're reaching towards the very upper edges of runs, you want to go down here, you want the mountain to pull you back so that you get roughly this angle and then you do your last trick going off it. If you're having issues having 4 tricks by here, which you need to have, then you probably want to take the rail. Another opportunity to catch up on a lost trick is right here. So what you want to do is you want to jump over this thing right here. Going around that is slower, and also you need to make sure your boost bar has been filled around this point. If not, you're not going to be able to get Super Uber when you want to. So basically, you have to make sure you have full boost bar right here. If you don't, you're going to run into problems. Right. And you need to have 4 Uber tricks by here, as I said. Just take this turn normally and head towards Yellow Station, as you have now completed Black Station and Gravitude as well. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next episode, in which I will cover Yellow Station and Rootless Ridge. Have a great day, take care, and goodbye.